Okay, everybody, let's get started here. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be presenting to you today, and before I get started, I am going to tell you something that makes me unique. I've been told that I am a good listener, and I tend to believe that because they say good listeners make great friends, and I believe that to be true because I have some of the best friends in the world, and I've had them for a really long time. I have 5 best friends that I can honestly say that we've been best friends since kindergarten, and even though we have our own lives and our own families, we still keep in touch. We're still really close, and we're always there for each other. So for that, I feel really blessed. Another reason that I feel like I am a good listener is because they say good listeners make good leaders. And I like to think of myself as a good leader, not just at work, but in life, with friends, with family, with siblings, with all the people that matter. And I like to think that everybody in this world matters. So I try to keep that in mind, and I think that's a great quality to have. Not everybody can be a good listener, but good listeners are important people. So uh, there you have it. Today I'm going to be presenting my PowerPoint on Mother Teresa. I picked the article on Mother Teresa, and the author is John P. Howell. The reason why I chose Mother Teresa is because I grew up, first of all, let me tell you this, I was raised by my grandma, and I grew up hearing about Mother Teresa all the time. I was raised in a Catholic household, and I remember my grandma always talking about her. And I remember when she would talk about her, she had such great admiration and love for this woman. And I could never understand why. I mean, I knew that I knew she was a nun that helped the poor, basically. But growing up, ever since I was a little girl, my grandma would always talk about Mother Teresa, and I remember, being really young and seeing her sometimes on the nightly news. I can't remember exactly what the news segment was about because I was so young, but looking back, I can kind of figure out why now. Mother Teresa is a very beautiful person, but she's also a great leader, and I never recognized that, like I said, growing up, that she was a leader. I just knew she was somebody that helped other people. I found out some really interesting facts about Mother Teresa, things I didn't know growing up. Like, for one, well, I didn't know that she was born in 1910. I also didn't know that she was born with the name Agnes Gongsie Bojaxiu. And I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I tried. She was born in the city of Skopje. It's the capital of the Republic of Macedonia. And there are a couple of different accounts of what age she was when her father died. I read more articles about Mother Teresa that said her father died when she was 10, but I also read some that said her father died when she was 8. When Mother Teresa grew up in a financially comfortable Albanian family, her father owned 2 homes when she was growing up, one of which they lived in. But when her father died, so did her family's financial security. So Mother Teresa went from living very comfortable and, having all the luxuries that a lot of people in that time did not have, to basically living with a single mother who raised and supported her 3 children. And she was also raised a devout Catholic, and in 1922 she was 12 years old. That's when she knew then that she wanted to be a nun. And so she left to the convent at 18 years old to join the Sisters of Loretto in Rockingham, Ireland. And when she left to Ireland at 18, that's the last time she saw her mom and her sisters. And she never saw them again. So, real quick, I just want to point out, because this is a leadership class and we're studying the different styles of leadership, I think that Mother Teresa fits the servant leadership um, characteristic the best. I mean, she has different qualities, different leadership characteristics, but I think that this one goes with her the best. And I found a definition on servant leadership. It's not from any of the books we read. I looked it up somewhere. And it says that servant leadership is a philosophy and set of practices that enriches the lives of individuals, builds better organizations, and ultimately creates a more just and caring world. Um, and that I believe that Mother Teresa she really embraced this style of leadership, whether she knew it or not, or that was her intention or not. This was really the type of leader that she was. She was a true servant of the people. Ultimately, she was a true servant of God. So I think this is the best fitting definition for the type of leader that Mother Teresa is or was. Sorry, the thunder's roaring here. I don't know if you can hear that. Um, One of these quotes, I don't know if you can see it too clearly. I had to kind of stretch the picture, but this is a really nice quote. Mother Teresa says, "Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person." And that's basically how Mother Teresa started out. She didn't start out, you know, I don't want to say preaching, but going out to preach to big groups or large groups or claim to heal large groups of people or even help large groups of people. She kind of did it, in the beginning when she first started out, one person at a time. She really took, baby steps, as my grandma used to say. Uh, I remember this word coming out of my grandma's mouth a lot when she used Mother Teresa um, in a sentence. She always called her a humanitarian. And growing up, I didn't really understand what a humanitarian was. But I kind of figured that, the way my grandma talked about her and how she always tell us to do things, to be more like her, I figured that she was somebody that really helped people and did a lot of good in this world, and that she did. Here's another one of her famous quotes, and this one I really love. "If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one." And that just goes to show, again, that she's trying to make a difference, one person at a time. Even if she only affects one life, makes a difference in that one life, it counts. And Mother Teresa advocated for the poor people, the poorest of the poor people, by the way. And she devoted her life to that. She did it selflessly. She provided health care. I think, in fact, she went to nursing school to try to learn how to care for sick people or injured people, and to learn more about medicine, because any money that she got or raised, she'd go and purchase medicine and go take it to the poor people and administer medicine to the poor people. Um, she Before she went out to the slums and lived among the poor people, she was teaching history and geography at Calcutta St. Mary's High School for the daughters of wealthy people. But I think there she was fulfilling her duty as a nun, as a sister, but in the back of her mind, she always thought about the people and the poverty and everything that she saw around her. I think that she was distressed by the poverty that she saw around her, and she wanted to make a difference. She wanted to do something with that. And so in 1946, she traveled to Darjeeling for a retreat, and there she realized what her true calling was. She was quoted as saying, "I heard the call to give up all and follow Christ into the slums to serve him among the poorest of the poor." And that she really did. She had to end up getting permission from the Archbishop and the Sisters of Loretto to go out and do this work, while still trying to fulfill her commitments in the sisterhood. Another great quote from Mother Teresa is, "The biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted." And Mother Teresa, when she went out, she began to spread the word, and then the word began to spread about what she was doing. And, she wasn't recruiting people, but just by word of mouth about her good works, she soon had volunteers wanting to help. And by 1950, she was able to start the mission of charity. And it was a congregation really dedicated to caring for the hungry, the naked, the homeless, the crippled, the blind, the lepers, all those people who feel unwanted, unloved, uncared for throughout society, and people that become a burden to society or are shunned by everyone. So she really, really wanted those people to know that they mattered and to know that somebody cared for them. And that, to me, is the true epitome of compassion. And I really can see why my grandmother admired this woman so much and how she could have so much love for this lady. Another thing about Mother Teresa is that she had all these honors and awards, and I mean, they're not many, but they're some of the most distinguished awards a human being can receive on this earth. She won Pope John's Peace Prize in 1971, and she was also given the Albania's Golden Honor of the Nation. That's one of their highest awards in 1994. She was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, and I can't remember who presented on her earlier, mentioned that instead of having the Peace Prize banquet, which was going to cost $192,000, instead of having the banquet, she requested that budget be given to help the poor in India. That's another selfless act that just goes to show the type of leader that she is and why she's admired so much. In 2003, she was beatified by the Pope, and in order to be beatified, you have to have one miracle under your, well, I don't want to say under your belt, but I guess that's what it is. And the first miracle is that she answered an Indian woman's prayer to cure her brain tumor. And one miracle is needed for beatification, and that's a recognition by the Catholic Church of a person's entrance into heaven. The second miracle, which she's going to be canonized, and that means she's going to become a saint on September 4th, 2016, which is a day before her birthday, or would be her birthday, and that's because she performed a second miracle, and that was the miraculous healing of a Brazilian man with multiple brain tumors and abscesses. So, she's going to be Saint Mother Teresa. And here you can meet my grandmother. This is the beautiful lady who instilled a lot of the values of Mother Teresa into me and the rest of our family. And here's something she used to tell me, and I never knew it came from Mother Teresa. If we pray, we will believe. If we believe, we will love. If we love, we will serve. And I never knew that came from Mother Teresa until I actually did this research. And for that, I really thank this beautiful lady. By all means, I'm not saying she's a saint because she's a little rascal, but she's a very compassionate person. Just like Mother Teresa, she's selfless. She does things for people and never expects things in return. That's something I really admire about her. She's loving. She's giving. She's healing. I'm not saying she has healing powers, but, there was a time in my life where I was near death and I had a very critical illness, and this lady had run a daycare for 18 years in her home, and she retired to help me recover and to take care of me, and she did so lovingly, and I really credit my health and well-being to her. Another thing, anytime I give her a birthday card or Mother's Day card, I always thank her for leading by example and for being a true servant of God and for teaching me that. Mother Teresa died September 5th, 1997, and here's a quote by John Maxwell that really explains who she was. True leadership must be for the benefit of followers, not to enrich the leader. And that's something that I think Mother Teresa really lived by. And for that, I think she's admired, and that's what makes her a great leader. So I hope you all enjoy the presentation, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.